The first time I heard them planning to convert my study into a nursery, I was elbow deep in dish soap, scrubbing away at another mess they'd left behind. My family didn't notice me standing in the kitchen. They never did unless they needed something. My name is Elise, and at 29, I've mastered the art of invisible existence in my own apartment. The study is just wasted space anyway, my sister Vivian's voice carried from the living room. Elise only uses it to work on her little art projects. You're right, sweetheart, my mother Iris chimed in. A nursery would be much more practical. Your father and I can help with the renovation while Elise is at work. I gripped the sponge tighter, watching suds squeeze between my fingers. The study was my sanctuary, the only room where I could escape their constant presence, work on my freelance projects, and actually earn the money that kept this household afloat. Speaking of work, Jason, my brother-in-law, projected his voice deliberately toward the kitchen. Elise, you're going to be late again. Shouldn't you be leaving? I checked my phone, 8:47 a.m. He was right, but only because I'd stayed up until 3 a.m. finishing a design project to cover this month's utilities. I dried my hands and walked into the living room, where they lounged across my furniture like they owned it. Thanks for the reminder, Jason, I said, keeping my voice neutral. Some of us have to work. He smirked, adjusting his position on my couch. You know, if you'd taken my advice about investing in crypto last year instead of wasting time with that art degree— Jason's right, my father Philip interrupted from his armchair throne. Your sister made better choices. Look at her, married, planning for children, living a proper life. Vivian beamed, running a hand over her flat stomach. We're not pregnant yet, Daddy, but we're practicing. She giggled while I suppressed a gag. I grabbed my laptop bag and headed for the door, but my mother's voice stopped me. Oh, Elise, the electric bill came yesterday. It seems a bit high this month. Of course it was high. 5 adults using electricity 24/7, with Jason mining cryptocurrency on his gaming setup and Vivian running her hot tools all day for her social media influence. I'd seen the bill last night. $487. I'll take care of it, I said automatically, the words bitter in my mouth. That's our responsible little girl, my father said condescendingly. Though if you'd chosen a real career instead of doodling— I have 2 jobs, I snapped, then immediately regretted showing emotion. I need to go. Don't forget we're having family dinner tonight, my mother called after me. I'm making your sister's favorite. I closed the door behind me, counting to 10. Through the door, I heard Vivian's voice. She's so sensitive lately. Must be because she's still single. Walking to my car, I pulled out my phone to check my bank balance. The numbers stared back at me. $127.43. My next paycheck wouldn't hit until Friday, but the electric bill was due tomorrow. I'd have to dip into my emergency fund again. At work, I tried to focus on my marketing coordinator duties, but my mind kept drifting to the conversation about my study. My hands shook as I typed, remembering the art supplies I'd saved for months to buy, the desk I'd refinished myself, the one space that was truly mine. My phone buzzed with a text from Vivian. Can you pick up some wine on your way home? The good kind, not the cheap stuff you usually drink. Jason's celebrating a potential business opportunity. Another buzz. Also, Mom needs ingredients for dinner. I'll send you the list. You can just grab everything since you're stopping anyway. I open my banking app again, staring at the transaction history. Every grocery run, every utility bill, every emergency transfer to Vivian, all carefully labeled as miscellaneous, so they wouldn't notice when they borrowed my laptop. That evening, I sat at my desk in the study, listening to them laugh and chat over the dinner I'd paid for. My fingers traced the edge of another unpaid bill I'd found stuffed in a drawer. 6 years of this. 6 years of working myself to exhaustion while they lived off my income, criticized my choices, and planned to take over my last remaining space. Something inside me snapped. I opened my laptop and created a new spreadsheet. At the top, I typed, "Documentation of financial abuse and unauthorized expenses." Below that, I began listing every transaction, every receipt, every text message demanding money. It was time to show my family exactly what their proper life really cost. You've been documenting everything? Zachary leaned back in his office chair, scrolling through the spreadsheet I'd spent all night creating. This is thorough. I'd called him first thing in the morning, claiming a family emergency to skip work. In a way, it was. 6 years of receipts, text messages, and bank statements, I said. Every time they've asked for money, every bill I've paid, every loan that was never returned. Zachary, my friend since college and now a practicing lawyer, whistled as he reached the total at the bottom. Over $200,000? Elise, this is beyond family helping family. This is exploitation. I know that now. I pulled up another document on my phone. But here's what pushed me over the edge. Check my banking app. He took my phone, his eyebrows rising. These automatic transfers to Vivienne's account, $700 monthly for the past year? I never authorized those. My voice shook. She must have set them up when she was using my laptop. Called it an emergency fund in the description. That's fraud, Zachary said flatly. Identity theft, actually. We can press charges. I stood up and paced his office. I don't want to jump straight to criminal charges. Not yet. First, I want them out of my apartment. Let's start there. He pulled out a legal pad. You said the lease is in your name only? Yes, they've been living there temporarily for 3 years. No written agreement, no rent payments. Perfect. That makes them unauthorized occupants. He started writing. We can serve them with a formal eviction notice, 30 days to vacate, and we can follow up with civil suits for the money they owe you. My phone buzzed. Another text from Vivienne. Elise, can you stop by the store? We're out of Jason's protein powder, the expensive kind. I showed Zachary the message. He shook his head. They really have no idea what's coming, do they? They think I'll always be their ATM. I sat back down. Last night, I heard them discussing paint colors for my study. My study, Zach, the only room I have left. Not for long. He turned to his computer. Give me an hour to draft the eviction notices. We'll make them ironclad. While Zachary worked, I continued organizing my evidence. Every passive-aggressive text, every guilt trip email, every manipulative conversation I'd recorded in my diary. 6 years of documented abuse, carefully catalogued and dated. Here's what I don't understand, Zachary said, still typing. How did you manage to support 5 adults on your salary? 2 jobs, I replied. Marketing coordinator by day, freelance designer by night. Plus, I took out a personal loan last year when Jason needed bail money for a bar fight. They promised to pay me back. Let me guess, they never did. Nope. But Vivienne bought a new Louis Vuitton bag the next week. Zachary printed out several documents and handed them to me. These are your eviction notices, 1 for each adult. They have 30 days to vacate, starting from the date of service. I flipped through the papers, my heart racing. What if they refuse to leave? Then we file with the court. He leaned forward. But Elise, once you start this, you have to be prepared. They'll try to guilt you. They'll call you selfish. They'll try to turn family members against you. They already do all that, I said quietly. At least this time, I'll get my life back. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was my mother. Darling, your father and I are planning a family vacation next month. We'll discuss your contribution at dinner. Something cold and hard settled in my chest. How soon can I serve these notices? Legally? Right now. Zachary handed me a USB drive. I've included templates for formal demand letters for the money they owe you. But first, go to your bank, report those unauthorized transfers, and freeze your accounts. I stood up, clutching the papers. Thank you, Zach. What do I owe you for this? He waved me off. Consider it payback for all those times you designed graphics for my firm's website. He paused. Promise me you'll stick to the plan. Don't let them manipulate you into backing down. I won't, I said, and for the first time in years, I felt something like power coursing through my veins. I'm done being their backup plan. As I left his office, my phone buzzed one final time. A banking alert. Automatic transfer of $700 to Vivienne completed. I smiled. Let them take their last handful of cash. By this time tomorrow, every account would be frozen, every automatic payment stopped, and my family would finally learn what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. It was time to go home and deliver some papers. The bank manager's eyes widened as she scrolled through my account history. "These transfers were definitely not authorized by you?" she asked, adjusting her glasses. "No," I replied, pointing to the screen. "Look at the timestamps. Most of them were set up while I was at work." She nodded, typing quickly. "I'm flagging these as fraudulent transactions. We'll freeze all automatic payments immediately and investigate the unauthorized access." She looked up at me. "Do you want to press charges against the account holder?" I hesitated. "Not yet, but I want documentation of everything." Walking out of the bank, I felt lighter, until I checked my messages. 15 missed calls from Vivienne. My mother had sent a series of texts about the family vacation they were planning. 7 days in Hawaii, all expenses paid by me, of course. Back at my apartment, I found them all gathered in the living room. Jason was mansplaining cryptocurrency to my father, while Vivienne scrolled through vacation rentals on her phone. "There you are," my mother exclaimed. "We need to discuss the vacation budget. Your father and I thought—" "Something's wrong with my bank account," Vivienne interrupted, her face pinched. "The transfer didn't go through." I set my bag down carefully. "What transfer, Vivienne?" "You know, the usual—" She trailed off, suddenly looking uncertain. "The emergency fund transfers?" I pulled out my phone. "The ones you set up without my knowledge or permission?" The room went silent. Jason stopped mid-sentence about Bitcoin. My father lowered his newspaper. "Don't be dramatic," Vivienne said, but her voice wavered. "You always help with expenses. What's the difference?" "The difference is consent," I said, my voice steady. "The difference is that you committed fraud." My mother stood up. "Elise, how dare you accuse your sister?" "I have proof." I opened my laptop, my backup laptop, not the one they had access to. Bank records, timestamps, login details, everything. Jason stepped forward, trying to look intimidating. "Now, listen here." "No, you listen." I turned the screen toward them. $8,400. That's how much you've stolen from me in the past year alone. The bank is investigating. Vivienne's face went white. "You can't prove I—" "Actually, I can. Remember when you posted that Instagram story about setting up automatic payments? The one where you accidentally showed my account details on screen?" She deleted that story quickly, but not before I'd screenshot it. Her face told me she remembered. My father slammed his hand on the coffee table. "This is ridiculous. We're family." "Family doesn't steal," I said. "Family doesn't exploit. And family definitely doesn't plan to renovate someone else's home without permission." My mother gasped. "You heard about the nursery? My study, my apartment, my money." I walked to my room and returned with a small security camera. And now, my evidence. Jason lunged forward. "Give me that—" "Touch me, and I'll add assault to the police report," I said calmly, stepping back. "Everything's already backed up online." "Police report?" Vivienne whispered. "Not yet, but keep testing me." I set the camera on the shelf. From now on, everything in this apartment is recorded. Every conversation, every threat, every attempt at manipulation. My mother started crying, her usual tactic. "How could you do this to us, after everything we've done?" "Everything you've done?" I laughed. "You mean living rent-free in my apartment? Spending my money? Criticizing my choices while depending on my income? We're planning a family," Vivienne shouted. "We need that money for—" "For what? Designer bags? Crypto schemes? Here's a thought. Get jobs." Jason puffed up. "I have multiple business ventures in development. Playing video games and day trading with my money isn't a business venture." My father stood up, pointing his finger. You ungrateful. Careful, Dad. I gestured to the camera. Choose your next words wisely. They all stared at me like they'd never seen me before. Maybe they hadn't. The old Elise would have backed down, apologized, written another check. I've frozen all my accounts, I said, changed all my passwords, installed cameras. The next time anyone accesses my money without permission, I'm pressing charges. You wouldn't, Vivian whispered. I met her eyes. Try me. My phone buzzed. A text from Zachary. Papers ready when you are. One more thing, I said, walking toward my study. If anyone touches this room, if a single paint swatch appears on these walls, you'll be out of here so fast your heads will spin. I closed and locked the door behind me, leaving them in stunned silence. Through the wall, I heard my mother's muffled voice. She's lost her mind. We need to do something about this. I smiled, starting my recording app. Let them plot. Let them scheme. Every word they spoke now was just more evidence for what was coming next. I waited until dinner was served, a meal they'd insisted I pay for, of course, before placing the manila envelopes next to each of their plates. My mother paused mid-bite, fork hovering. What's this, darling? Open it, I said, remaining standing. All of you. Jason smirked, probably expecting more money. He ripped his envelope open first, then froze. Vivienne leaned over his shoulder, her face shifting from curiosity to horror. Notice of eviction, she read aloud, her voice rising with each word. This can't be real. My father tore into his envelope. What is the meaning of this? It means you have 30 days to vacate my apartment, I said, my voice steady. All of you. My mother hadn't opened her envelope yet. Her hands trembled. Elise, sweetheart, you can't be serious. Read the second page, I interrupted. It details how much each of you owes me. They shuffled through the papers. Vivian's face went from red to white as she reached the total. $47,000? She shrieked. This is insane. That's your share, I said. 3 years of unpaid rent, utilities, groceries, and unauthorized transfers. Jason owes $52,000, including the bail money and legal fees. Mom and Dad, you're at $38,000 each. We're your parents, my father roared, standing up. You can't charge us for living with our daughter. Actually, I can. And I am. I pulled out my phone, starting the recording. You've been unauthorized occupants in my leased property for 3 years. No rental agreement, no contributions to household expenses. Jason stood up too, trying to tower over me. You think some piece of paper can make us leave? No, I said calmly. But the court order that follows will. Notice the law firm's letterhead? They all looked. Zachary's firm name was emblazoned at the top of each document. You got a lawyer? Vivian's voice cracked. I got tired of being stolen from. My mother finally opened her envelope, tears streaming. Elise, we're family. We can work this out. Like you worked out turning my study into a nursery? Or like Vivian worked out stealing from my bank account? That was an emergency fund, Vivian protested. For what emergency? Your Gucci addiction? Jason stepped closer. Listen here, you little... I held up my phone. Remember the cameras, Jason? Want to add threatening behavior to the record? He backed down, but his face was murderous. This is how it's going to work, I continued. You have 30 days to find new accommodations. You can either pay what you owe in full, or we can set up payment plans through the court. Or what? My father challenged. Or I press criminal charges for theft and fraud. I have enough evidence to make it stick. Vivian jumped up. You wouldn't dare. I'll sue you for emotional distress. I actually laughed. Please do. Discovery will be fascinating. All those Instagram posts about your luxury purchases, time-stamped right after stealing from my account. I did not steal. The bank's fraud department disagrees. I placed another stack of papers on the table. Here's their preliminary report. Want to guess what they found? My mother was full-on sobbing now. Where are we supposed to go? Not my problem, I said. Maybe Jason's crypto millions can help. Jason turned purple. You ungrateful bit. Careful, I warned. Everything you say can and will be used in court. You've lost your mind, my father declared. We'll fight this. Good luck. I started toward my study. Oh, and one more thing. Rent is due tomorrow. Pay it or add it to your tab. We've never paid rent, Vivian screamed. Exactly my point. I paused at my study door. You have 29 days and 14 hours left. I suggest you start packing. Behind me, chaos erupted. Vivian was crying about her social media reputation. Jason was yelling about family loyalty. My father was threatening legal action, while my mother wailed about ungrateful children. I locked myself in my study and sent a quick text to Zachary. Papers delivered. Recording everything. His response came immediately. Good, don't engage further. Let them dig their own graves. Through the door, I heard Vivienne's shrill voice. We can't let her get away with this. We need to do something. I smiled, checking my security app. Every camera was recording, every word being preserved. Let them plot, let them threaten. Every reaction was just more ammunition for what was coming next. My phone buzzed with a message from my mother. We need to talk about this as a family. Come out so we can discuss this reasonably. I didn't respond. The time for family discussions was long past. Now it was time for consequences. Day 15 of the 30-day notice brought the first physical confrontation. I was making coffee when Jason cornered me in the kitchen, blocking the exit. We need to talk about this situation, he said, his voice low and threatening. I clicked the emergency recording button on my smartwatch. Step back, Jason. Or what? You'll call your lawyer friend? He moved closer. Family problems should stay in the family. Like the family money you lost in crypto scams? His face twisted. I was investing in our future. With stolen money, I said, keeping my voice steady despite my racing heart. Now back off, or I call the police. You ungrateful little... He slammed his hand on the counter beside me. My phone buzzed immediately, the security system alerting Zachary. Within seconds, Jason's phone rang. He answered it, his face darkening as he listened. Your lawyer just threatened me with a restraining order, he spat. My lawyer just watched you try to intimidate me in my own kitchen. I pointed to the camera in the corner. Want to try for assault charges too? He stormed out, nearly running into Vivian in the hallway. She'd been watching the whole thing, her face pale. You're tearing this family apart, she said. No, you did that when you started stealing from me. She followed me to my study. I talked to a lawyer yesterday. And? He said... She swallowed hard. He said your documentation is perfect, that we don't have a case. I know. Mom's sick over this, she tried. Her blood pressure is not my problem anymore. I unlocked my study door. Neither are your unauthorized transfers or Jason's failed investments. We're your family. I turned to face her. Family doesn't steal. Family doesn't threaten. Family doesn't try to take over someone's personal space without permission. That nursery was going to be for your niece or nephew. In my apartment that I pay for without asking me? I laughed bitterly. The audacity of you people is astounding. My phone buzzed with a notification. Someone had tried to access my banking app from an unauthorized device. Again. Still trying to hack my accounts, Vivian? She flushed. I don't know what you're talking about. The bank logs every attempt. I showed her my phone. IP address matches your laptop. I just needed to check something. You mean steal something? She burst into tears, her go-to manipulation tactic. You're being so cruel after everything we've done for you. Done for me? I pulled up my spreadsheet. You mean the $140,000 you've collectively taken from me? The constant criticism? The emotional abuse? It wasn't abuse. We were trying to help you make better life choices. By stealing from me? She stormed off, slamming doors. Through the walls, I heard her join a group chat call. Curious, I opened my security app and turned up the volume. She's completely lost it, Vivian was saying. We need to do something before she ruins all our lives. We could say she's mentally unstable, my mother's voice suggested. Get her committed for evaluation. Good idea, Jason chimed in. She's clearly having some kind of breakdown. I have a friend in social services, my father added. Maybe we can claim she's a danger to herself. I forwarded the recording to Zachary immediately. His response came quickly. Got it. Adding it to the file. Don't confront them. Another text followed. Check your email. You'll want to see this. I opened my inbox to find documents from my bank's fraud department. They'd completed their investigation into the unauthorized transfers. The evidence was damning. Screenshots of Vivian logging into my account, timestamps of transfers, even social media posts showing her bragging about her purchases with dates matching the stolen funds. My phone buzzed again. A message in the family group chat I hadn't left yet. Mom, family meeting tonight. Elise, we need to discuss your recent concerning behavior. Dad, this is for your own good, daughter. Vivian, we're worried about your mental health. Jason, time for an intervention. I screenshotted the conversation and sent it to Zachary, adding, they're planning to claim I'm mentally unstable to stop the eviction. His response was immediate. Perfect. More evidence of coordinated harassment. Don't attend their meeting. Stay in your study. I'm filing additional paperwork tomorrow. I muted the group chat and locked my study door, listening to them gather in the living room, plotting their next move. Let them scheme. Let them try to paint me as unstable. Every word they spoke was being recorded, every plan documented, every attempt to access my accounts logged. They thought they were staging an intervention. They had no idea they were building my case for me. You did what? Alana, my boss at the marketing firm, stared at her computer screen, scrolling through my viral blog post. This is intense. I had to do something, I said, watching her read. They were planning to have me committed. The post had gone live an hour ago. How my family stole $140,000 and tried to gaslight me into submission, complete with screenshots, bank statements, and security camera clips. Holy shit, Alana whispered, reaching the part about Vivian's unauthorized transfers. And these are real documents? Every single one, verified by the bank's fraud department. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since the post went live. Distant relatives, family friends, even Vivian's social media followers were sharing it. The comments were flooding in. This happened to me too. Your sister's luxury lifestyle posts hit different now. Financial abuse is still abuse. Alana leaned back in her chair. You know what? This changes our conversation about your promotion. What do you mean? We've been looking for someone to lead our new digital storytelling division, someone who understands both design and narrative. She gestured to my post. This is exactly that. Before I could respond, my phone exploded with notifications. Vivian had gone live on Instagram. My sister is having a mental breakdown, she was saying through tears. She's making up horrible lies about our family. I smiled and pulled up my own phone. Watch this, I told Alana, and started sharing the security footage from that morning. There was Vivian, thinking she was alone in my apartment, trying to access my laptop. The timestamp matched perfectly with another failed attempt to log into my bank account. Receipts, I typed above the video. Keep lying, sis, Alana whistled. You're not playing around. They thought they could declare me mentally unfit. I showed her the recording of their intervention planning. Let's see how they like having their true colors exposed. My phone rang. My mother. I let it go to voicemail, then played it on speaker. Elise, how could you do this to us? I raised you better than this. I carried you for 9 months, sacrificed everything. Wow, Alana said. That's some grade A guilt tripping. Wait for it. And now everyone's calling me about your lies. Your father's reputation at his club is ruined. Vivian's losing followers. If you don't take down that post immediately, I ended the playback. Notice how she's not denying anything? Another notification popped up. A message from an aunt I hadn't spoken to in years. I always wondered how they maintained that lifestyle. Your cousin went through something similar. Call me. Then Jason's voice boomed from the hallway outside Alana's office. Where is she? Security, Alana said immediately into her phone. Main office, please. I pulled up my camera app as Jason burst in, his face red. Take it down, he shouted. Take it all down now. Sir, Alana stood up. This is a private office. Leave immediately. Stay out of this, he pointed at me. Do you know what you've done? My investors are pulling out. You mean the people you scammed with my stolen money? He lunged forward and walked straight into two security guards. Perfect timing, I said, stopping the recording. Assault attempt caught on camera. Want to add that to the blog post? As security dragged him out, he kept shouting, You'll regret this. We're family. No, I called after him. We're strangers who share DNA, and now everyone knows why. Alana locked her office door. Okay, that promotion we were discussing, it's yours. Anyone who can handle that situation with such composure is exactly what we need. My phone buzzed again, a message from Zachary. Blog post received, adding it to the court documentation. Also, Jason just got arrested for causing a disturbance at your office. Want to press charges? Not yet, I replied. Let's save that card for later. Another notification. Vivian's Instagram followers were dropping by the thousands. Her sponsorship deals were pulling out. Her carefully curated image of successful family life was crumbling. You know they'll never forgive you for this, Alana said softly. Good. I showed her my latest email, the bank's final fraud report. Because I'll never forgive them either. My phone lit up with a text from my father. You've destroyed this family, I typed back. No, you did that when you chose to exploit your daughter instead of love her. Then I blocked his number, along with everyone else's. Let them rage. Let them cry. Let them watch their carefully constructed facade of respectability crumble. The truth was finally out, and it was trending. Moving day arrived with a whimper, not a bang. I stood in my living room, watching as a police officer supervised my family's exit. They'd refused to leave until the very last minute, forcing me to get a formal escort. This is the last box, Jason muttered, carrying out what I suspected was half my kitchenware. Check that, I told the officer, who nodded and made him open it. Sure enough, my expensive coffee maker and food processor were inside. Those are ours, my mother protested from the doorway. I held up the receipts. Purchased by me last Christmas. Add theft attempt to the report, please. The officer made Jason return the items, documenting everything on his body camera. Vivian stood in the corner, mascara running down her face. Her latest Instagram post, The Truth About My Sister's Lies, had backfired spectacularly when followers matched her luxury purchase dates with my bank records. You've ruined everything, she whispered. Actually, I pulled out an envelope. I saved the best for last. This is for you. She opened it, her hands shaking. A small claims court summons? For the unauthorized bank transfers, $8,400 plus legal fees. I don't have that kind of money. Sell your designer bags, I smiled, the ones you bought with my stolen funds. My father stepped forward. Now listen here. No, you listen. I handed him his own envelope. This is a bill for 3 years of rent and utilities. Pay it or face court proceedings. We're your parents. You're tenants who didn't pay rent and thieves who got caught. My mother started her familiar wailing. After everything we've sacrificed, save the performance, I interrupted. The cameras are still rolling. The officer checked his watch. It's past the deadline. Anyone still here in 5 minutes will be removed for trespassing. They shuffled toward the door, shooting me venomous looks. Jason was the last to leave, turning back with a sneer. This isn't over, Actually, Zachary's voice came from behind him. It is. My lawyer friend stepped into the apartment, holding up his phone. I just received confirmation. The restraining orders have been approved for all of you. 50 feet minimum distance. Restraining orders? My mother gasped. Based on documented threats, attempted intimidation, and Jason's little office visit. Zachary handed copies to the officer. Effective immediately. You can't do this to your own family, my father roared. Watch me. The officer stepped forward. Time's up. Out now, or you're all going to jail. They finally left, their footsteps echoing down the hallway. I locked the door behind them, then double-checked every window and security camera. They're really gone, I whispered. Not quite, Zachary said, looking out the window. Jason's trying to break into your car. We watched as the officer immediately arrested him. Through the glass, I heard him shouting about family property. Add attempted car theft to his record, I told Zachary. My phone buzzed, an email from an unexpected source. Dear Ms. Elise, I'm your great-aunt Margaret's lawyer. Your recent blog post about financial abuse caught her attention. She'd like to discuss your inheritance. Inheritance? Zachary read over my shoulder. I didn't know you had a wealthy aunt. Neither did I. I opened the attachment. Holy, that's a lot of zeros, Zachary whistled. On one condition, I read aloud, I have to legally separate myself from my dependent relatives to prevent them from accessing the funds. Through the window, I watched as Jason was placed in a police car. Vivian was screaming at the officers while my parents tried to look dignified in front of the gathering neighbors. Where will they go? I asked, not really caring but curious. Your father's been calling his country club friends all week, Zachary said. No one will take them in. Seems your blog post reached their social circle. My phone lit up with notifications. Vivian's last sponsorship deal had dropped her. Jason's crypto investment group had publicly banned him. My parents' church was reviewing their membership. Their reputation was all they really had, I said. Now they don't even have that. A final text came through from my mother. We're staying at a motel. When you're done with this childish revenge, we'll be waiting to forgive you. I showed it to Zachary, who laughed. Want me to respond? No need. I blocked the number. They can wait forever. I walked through my apartment, my space, finally truly mine. No more walking on eggshells, no more missing money, no more criticism and control. Ready to change the locks? Zachary asked. I looked around one last time at the remnants of their presence. Empty spaces where they'd tried to steal my belongings, walls they'd planned to paint without permission, rooms they'd tried to claim as their own. Yes, I said, I'm ready for everything to change. The study looks amazing, Alana said, admiring my newly redesigned home office. Hard to believe this was almost turned into a nursery. I adjusted my webcam setup, a professional one now, funded by my great-aunt Margaret's inheritance. Instead, it's where I help other people escape toxic families. My laptop dinged with another consultation request. Since my blog went viral, I'd been working with Zachary to create resources for victims of financial abuse. My story had sparked a movement. Speaking of toxic families, Alana handed me her phone. Seen this? It was a local news article. Local couple faces fraud charges in cryptocurrency scheme. Jason's mugshot stared back at me, followed by Vivian's tear-streaked booking photo. They tried scamming their crypto investors, I read aloud, using fake accounts and stolen identities. Shocking. Not that shocking, Alana said. Once a thief... My phone buzzed. A message from my Aunt Margaret. Saw the news about your sister. You made the right choice cutting ties. Dinner this weekend? I smiled, typing back a quick yes. She'd become the family I always wanted. Supportive, respectful, and genuinely proud of my success. The doorbell rang. Through my security camera, I saw a familiar face. It's your mother, Alana said, checking the feed. I know. I pulled up the restraining order documentation, and she's violating the order by being here. We watched through the camera as police officers, already on speed dial, approached her. "Elise," she called out, "please, your father's left us. Vivian's in jail. I have nowhere to go." "That sounds like a personal problem," I muttered, turning back to my desk. "Want me to go down there?" Alana offered. "No need. Watch." On screen, the officers escorted my mother away. She was still shouting, "I'm your mother. You can't do this." "Actually," I said to the empty air, "I can and did." My laptop chimed again, another message from someone who'd read my blog. "Your story gave me courage. I finally checked my bank statements. My brother's been stealing from me for years. What do I do first?" I opened my response template, then paused. "Alana, remember when you said my story was exactly what the company needed? Best decision I ever made. Our financial literacy campaign has reached millions." I gestured to my setup. "What if we made it bigger? Not just blog posts and consultations, but a full platform? Resources, legal advice, support groups. A safe space for people to reclaim their lives." Alana nodded. "I'm listening. We could partner with Zachary's firm, offer legal guidance." I was already sketching ideas. Help people document abuse, secure their accounts, plan their escape. Like an underground railroad for financial abuse victims? Exactly. I pulled up my blog statistics. Look at these numbers. Every story posted, every person helped creates a ripple effect. My phone buzzed again. A text from Zachary. "Your father just tried to access your great-aunt's trust fund. Don't worry, ironclad legal blocks in place." "Still trying to steal?" I showed Alana the message. "Some people never change." "But you did," she said. "That's what matters." I looked around my study, now a command center for helping others break free. Where Vivian once planned to paint nursery murals, I'd hung framed screenshots of success stories. Where Jason tried to intimidate me, I now conducted workshops on recognizing financial abuse. My laptop chimed with an incoming video call. A nervous face appeared on screen. "Hi," the woman said softly. "I read your blog. My husband's been stealing from me for years. I'm scared to leave." "I understand," I told her, pulling up my resources document. "Let's make a plan. You don't have to be afraid anymore." After the call, Alana helped me finalize the platform design. "What are you going to call it?" I thought about my journey, from silent ATM to vocal advocate, from victim to victor, from trapped to free. Breaking the bank, I decided, because sometimes you have to break things to fix them. My phone lit up one last time. A news alert. Local woman's viral story sparks national conversation about family financial abuse. I closed the alert without reading it. The story wasn't about me anymore. It was about every person still trapped, still afraid, still making excuses for theft disguised as love. "Ready to launch?" Alana asked. I looked at my wall of success stories, each one a life changed, a chain broken, a future reclaimed. Then I looked at my empty bank notifications. No more unauthorized transfers, no more guilt-driven donations, no more stolen dreams. "Ready," I said, and clicked publish on the platform launch. It was time to help others write their own endings.